in-season tournament, Wiggy's lead this morning at 6:25, or whenever we got to his lead, 6:45 this morning, was that it's bothersome to you. I don't know. I don't know if you echo Drew Holiday. He's got an issue with the integrity of the game and running the points up, and I think you're just more confused about like you're confused about a lot of things, but particularly confused about this and why it's necessary.
And I get his point of it. I mean, you know, as a basketball fan, it's like, all right, at that point in time, usually when you're up by 25, it's you pull out the starters, but you had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing the last 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter up by 30 plus points. It's just stupid. And the whole in-season tournament I thought was dumb from Jump Street. And then once you start to figure out like some of the rules and how, you know, I just thought like you play everybody and then the team and whatever group you're in with the best record moves on. Not this whole point differential stuff.
Do you like the way they're doing I think it's next weekend or next Thursday and Saturday, everybody goes to Vegas and they play the tournament there, or is that to you another ridiculous thing that they're doing in the middle of a regular season in the NBA?
Yeah, because it's really these guys are playing for and a large. Get it? I understand $500,000 to 90% of people out there is great, but to some of these guys, I mean, they probably like whatever. Is it even worth it? As a fan, I wish it was more about playoff seeding or something that had more to do with maybe like, remember the All-Star game in baseball? And I still don't know if they do this.
Used to determine home field when it came to the World Series.
This time it counts.
Right, so maybe, if it was something along those lines where it had some playoff implications to factor into it. But
what I don't understand, Wiggy, as a former professional athlete yourself, why they don't use the players as the ones to create the playoff or in-season tournament. Like, if the players aren't invested in it, it's not going to be great. And you've already heard from Jason Tatum and others talk about how didn't Jaylen Brown complain about the court?
Yeah.
So that's what I don't understand. Why wouldn't the owners work with the players to create a tournament that everybody wants, and until then, don't do it? Because this feels just sort of half-assed.
Because I think the owners, they're always looking to make as much money as they can. And for players, they're like, $500,000? What am I going to do with that? And it's crazy to think that.
That's a great thing. So the $500,000 doesn't matter to them because they're making $50 million a year.
He's making $50 million a year.
I mean, Jaylen Brown, he said essentially the same thing, and that is that it's not the way the game is supposed to be played. Do you have that from last night from Jaylen Brown? Like you're disrespecting your opponents essentially.
It's tough because that's just not how the game is supposed to be played. One, you got to respect your opponents, and two, it's just weird setup. We understand the rules, but if I was another team, I'd be upset as well if we were doing the hacker drumming in the middle of the fourth quarter. But coaching staff made their decisions, and we stick with it.
We've seen guys almost get into fights because other teams are up by a lot and try to score in the last 10 seconds of a game.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitch were pointing out that the Celtics staff would also receive $500,000.
No, the head coach would. The assistants would have a pool prize of 75% of that, so they'd still get money, but they don't get the full $500,000.
So only the head coach would receive. Only Mazzulla would get $500,000.
Yes,
Mazzulla. You could buy a lot of gum with $500,000.
Yeah, he would receive $500,000, and then the assistant coach will share an additional pool of money that comprises of 75% of the winning coach's total. So whatever the hell that means.
And then it ends there after the assistants?
Yeah, and then it ends there.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, if the players are doing this so that the people that are working really hard behind the scenes are also making $500,000.
No, hell no.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they're not going to give it to the guy getting all the stats. It's just weird in the game.
It just seems to me like you might have an issue when it comes to your league if you have to, create a rule that says your starters, the players that everybody wants to see, have to play for a certain amount of time in every game, and two, we're going to bonus you $500,000 if you put a little effort in during the regular season. Might be an issue when it comes to the NBA.
Yeah, and it's like in basketball or in baseball or even in hockey, they have so many games, and I get that you're trying to make every game important.
It's been that way. Like, it's always driven me crazy when it comes to the NBA that a lot of guys don't play until the second half. Like, they don't care about it's like it's always been that way.
But
the game has changed.
Why should they?
Because they're being paid $1 million
the goal
a minute to play.
The goal of the organization is to win a championship.
Bingo.
Everything else is irrelevant.
Bingo.
So,
what about the fans that are paying a ton of money to be there?
You think they care if they win a chip?
Last time I checked, if it's been going on their whole life, they know what they're investing in.
Right, and they only care about their team winning a championship. Why do you? And Curtis is right. What the owners, they're trying to make money, but the players, a good portion of them make a ton of money. So they're like,
to Greg's point, though, if you can only afford to go to one game and you
go down this road again.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are.
I think that's important.
The fans are still important.
Yeah, if the fan goes to a game in the beginning of the season and the best player, the star player, is not giving any effort and then is sitting for most of it.
Well, go to a game that the
people
best
can't
player's
afford
not going to go to.
Have you seen how
I
expensive
understand
these
it.
tickets
So then
are?
blame the owners. So you're coming down on the players for them not playing because tickets are too expensive. Why are you complaining to the owners and telling them to lower
I guess
ticket?
I'm complaining to everyone. I don't know. I think that the fans get lost in this, where it's like, yeah, who cares if your star players don't care at the beginning of the season?
Your animosity is towards the wrong people.
I don't have any animosity. I'm just saying that there are a certain amount of people that go to these games, spend their hard-earned money to go see one game a year, and it sucks for them when they go sit in those seats all crammed in, and they don't get to see the player they want to see.
So when we have Wick on, let him know that.
Okay.
He's the one that, they're the ones that make the ticket prices. It's not the players. If Tatum goes, all right, you know what? Hey, I need a little bit rest here because I'm playing almost every other night.
Yeah, I mean, I went to go see Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway, and Jesus had an understudy, and I was pissed.
I never get that argument. People are blaming the players. No, blame the owners for having ticket prices cost so much money.
Well, in the Twitch chat, 2012 Inc., I think, says, how do you think the owners pay the players?
Okay.
Wiggy. Like, how do you think they pay the Supermax?
Probably through the TV deals, I'd imagine.
Okay.
Honestly, they're going to have to keep evolving the in-game experience for fans because the at-home experience is as good, if not better.
Right.
It's so cheap to get an amazing TV. Greg, you should look into it. And
I don't think basketball. I think it's so much better in person than on TV.
No, it depends on when. If you're sitting courtside, yeah, of course it's awesome.
I'm not sitting courtside. I've never sat courtside. I know you have had that luxury,
right? And I've sat all over the Celtics.
Yeah, I think that it is better watching in person than on TV. Basketball.
Sports are the only sport that I would say is better in person than on TV is probably hockey. That's the only sport I would say in person it's better because you can sit there, you can follow the puck. But basketball, unless you're sitting courtside, I'd rather, like Curtis is right, I'd rather watch it from the house. I'd rather watch football from the house.
Football, I would rather watch from the house.
Yeah, so the in-game experience is about, and guess what? You know what happens when you have a good basketball team? Ticket prices usually cost money. Mm-hmm. So, and if you want to see Tatum play or you want to see Jaylen Brown play against, you went to the Bucks game. How much did tickets cost you? Were they expensive?
I didn't buy them. Santa did.
But anyway, what's your point?
My point is that maybe you could still get tickets to go see a good game, and they might just be a little bit higher. It might not cost as much.
And according to this study from Investpedia, no idea how real it is, but they say that 22% of the NBA team's total revenue comes from tickets. So 78% of the revenue is related to TV, merchandise, all that.
And I bet you it's probably, Curtis, I bet it's probably like that in most of the four major sports with the TV deals.
The only one that would be different is baseball because of the 81 home games.
All right, Wiggy, I think you were spot on with your lead. Seems kind of useless, the in-season tournament, and the players seem to agree. So